a great day to you all. Welcome to Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. I am Dr. Shyvana Whitehead, and it's always my privilege, my honor, and my pleasure to come here and join you. Listen, come on in the room. Say hello as you're coming in the room. Listen, this is your time for your push. This is your time for your encouragement and your empowerment. And guess what? We got something amazing to discuss today. I am super excited, as always, to join you. So wherever you're joining from, hello and welcome. Listen, today we're going to talk about refocus and live. And I know you're probably talking about, hey, Nira, I know you're probably talking about, Dr. Vaughn, what do you mean refocus and live? What I mean by is so many of us have gotten so consumed by life. So many of us have gotten so consumed by what's going on. I mean, it's been one thing after another, and it seems like we're in a whirlwind and we are forgetting the importance of living. And some of us need to just take a moment, breathe, refocus, and live. We've gotten so distracted by not having enough money for this, and so distracted by losing friendships, and so distracted by life storms and life circumstances that we have forgotten that this is just a part of the journey. It's not the whole journey. This is just a moment. I said something to someone the other day. Don't live. Remember, this is just a moment. What you are enduring is just that. It's a moment in your journey. And so you got to sometimes just step back, take a breather, and remember that you now need to refocus and live. There is so much more life in front of you than what you're dealing with right now. Again, let me say that again. There is so much more life in front of you than what you're dealing with right now. And so many of us are allowing the current situation and circumstance that we are facing to dictate that this is it for us. Well, I came by to encourage you. Where you are now is not it. Where you are now is not your final. Where you are now is just a stop, a pit stop in the journey. And so you have to not just exist anymore. I know we're going through the motions. I know we're getting up. We're getting ready for work. If we're wives, we're taking care of the spouses. If we're moms, we're taking care of the children. If we're bosses at work, we're making sure the employees are good. But some of us are going through cycles where we're just existing. But when is the last time you actually sat back and said, am I really living? Living goes beyond waking up every morning. Living goes beyond making sure that I, get this paycheck. What are you really living, and actually living in the fulfillment that God always intended for you to have? Some of us, if the truth be told, we are just existing. We're going through the motions. And so right now, I came to give you a few tools, and I came to give you a few things that's going to help push you to not only live, but to refocus and live. Tell somebody, I'm no longer just existing. It's time for me to live. Yep, that's right. Tell yourself, tell your sister girl, tell your neighbor, tell your family, I am no longer existing. It is now time for me to live. And so listen, I want to give you a few things right here, just going to push you. I got 10 things that I'm going to give you. The first thing is you got to fall back in love with you. I know it seems elementary. I know it seems very simple, but you got to fall back in love with you. When is the last time you did what you love to do? When is the last time that you literally went back and refocused your dreams? When is the last time that you, hey D, when is the last time that you actually refocused and leaned in and really realized that you are actually fulfilling your dreams and your destiny? When is the last time that you just did something that you just love to do, a hobby or something that makes you smile? It is time to fall back in love with you. You have been loving on everybody else. You have been strengthening everybody else. You've been pushing everybody else. You've been covering everybody else. You've been making sure everybody else is good. But my question to you is, when is the last time you looked in the mirror and made sure you were good? When is the last time that you actually really looked in the mirror and genuinely smiled because you felt fulfilled? Genuinely smiled because you knew that you were taking good care of you. And listen, I mean that means taking care of you, your mind, your body, and your soul. Because how many of us understand that some of us have not even been taking care of our bodies well? We've been going, and our health is being affected. You got to love you enough to realize that my emotions matter. My mind matters. My body matters. My happiness matter. Most of all, I matter. Somebody just type, I matter. You have to realize that you matter. And many of us are in situations and circumstances where we have put ourselves so far on the back burner that we can't remember the last time we did something for us. Don't you think that that's odd? You can't remember the last time you did for you? Tell somebody I got to fall back in love with me. Here's number 2. You got to find your purpose. Some of you have been so busy building and pushing everybody else that you don't even know your purpose. And some of you, and the caveat to that is some of you know your purpose, but you ain't walking in it. Oh, all right. Some of you know your purpose and you're not walking in it. There are some of you that don't know your purpose, but then there's some of you that legitimately know what you've been called to do, legitimately know what you should be doing. And because you're so consumed with making sure everybody else is good, you have neglected you. Yep, I came to bring the highlight and bring the mirror back in front of you. You have legitimately neglected you, the real you. You had so many dreams and aspirations that you've thrown on the back burner to make sure everybody else was okay. No, somebody needs to say, it's time to put me first. Yes, somebody listening to me today needs to say, it's time to put me first. Do you not understand? It's not selfish to put you first. Some of us has gotten this misconceived notion and this misconception that putting us first means that we're neglecting everybody else. No, when I put me first and I invest inside of me, do you know when I can give up my best self, then everybody benefits? Listen to me. Do you not understand that if I put me first, then everybody benefits? Because if I'm healthy, if I'm whole, if I'm happy, if I'm strong, if I got rest, if I'm peaceful, do you know everything connected to me benefits? But we are failing to realize that when we think we're putting ourselves on the back burner, that we're putting everybody first. You do know that you're doing a disservice to everybody. You're doing a disservice to everybody because you cannot be your best self if yourself is not priority. Okay. All right. Here's the next thing. Then you got to be committed to your growth. So when you put yourself first, now you got to invest in you. Okay. Let me park here for a moment. So you making sure the kids get to school. You're making sure they get what they need. You're making sure doctor's appointments. You're telling them, you need to read. You need to study. You need to, do this for yourself and do that for yourself. But here's my question. When is the last time you invested in you? Yes, you. When is the last time you invested in you? Oh, it's quiet. When is the last time you really invested in you? Something to think about because we have a remedy for everybody else and we will spend money on everybody else. But when is the last time you just invested in you? You know you want to go to that conference because you need to be empowered, you need to be strengthened, but you won't spend the money to go invest in you so you can be in the room to receive your healing and wholeness. But you'll turn around and because the kids want to go to the latest movie, spend all the money to make sure that you spend $150 to make sure everybody goes to a movie. We make excuses for investing in ourselves. We make excuses for buying the books that we need to read. We make excuses for going to see the counselor we need to see. We make excuses for the time that we need to spend with ourselves. We make excuses for not investing in ourselves. We make excuses for not taking that break and go hanging out with the girls because you need a reprieve. Tell some, I need to invest in me. Somebody need to say that to themselves. I need to invest in me. What is it that you want? I know you didn't ask everybody else what they want, but what do you want? It is time for you to invest in you. Here's the next thing. Then you got to prioritize your health. Ladies and gentlemen, some of us literally are going through so many things in our body, not because we have to, but because we've neglected our body. We don't maintain our checkups. We don't go to our physicals. We're not eating right. We're not sleeping right. We're not taking care of ourselves. We're pushing ourselves beyond. We could be in the worst pain, but we're pushing ourselves because people need us to be where they need us to be. But let me help you understand. The people that really love you and the people that really care about you, if in fact you are in a state of limitation and you cannot do it, they will understand. I'm just trying to help somebody. You have to realize if the people that really love you and care about you, they don't want you breaking down because they need the whole you. They don't want you. You can barely walk, but you still talking about, yeah, I'll pick you up and take you. Huh? You feel so horrible and sick, but you still showing up for the event. No, stay at home and, stay at home and rest. Maybe we have to take a rain check. I'll take you out to lunch another time when I feel better. Maybe I can't come out with the group tonight. I know it's your birthday, but guess what? I'm going to be accountable. I'm going to let you know. I'm not feeling so good, so we're going to have to take a rain check. I'll meet up with you later. Those that really love you will be so concerned about your well-being, they won't take offense that you can't be at the event. They want you to be well. Why? Because I don't want you for a moment. I need you our connection for a lifetime. I can't hear nobody but God. I said, I don't want you to show up for a moment and then you get so sick that we can't be lifetime. I want you to be well. Those that really love you want the best for you. Now, if you got those people, let's talk about it. If you got those people that could care less that you sick, that could care less whether or not you hurting, that don't come and see about you, that don't ask you if you need anything, maybe you need to reevaluate who you're connected to. I said, maybe you need to evaluate who you're connected to, because one of the priorities you need to be is your health. If you are not healthy, what good are you to the people? If you are not healthy, what good are you to yourself? Okay. Let's be real. Because when we're sick, what are we doing? Tell me, let me paint the picture. Tell me how this makes sense. I can barely walk, but I'm going to get dressed, get in the car. It's hurting to press the pedal. It's hurting to sit in the chair. I don't feel good. I'm stuck in traffic. I'm driving just so I can sit at a table for your birthday, for us to eat when I don't even have an appetite, for me to get back home. And now because I came out to celebrate your birthday, instead of me being down for one day, I'm down for 3. Help me understand how that makes sense. Just to say I was in a picture and I was there. No, the people that love you, you make a phone call or text message and say, you know what? I'm not feeling my best. I'm not feeling my best. And so I'm going to stay inside because I need to nurse me. I need to nurse me back. All right, come on. Here's the next thing. You got to be intentional about your happiness. Okay, let's park here. You got to be intentional about your happiness. Some of you know for a fact that where you are, you ain't happy, but you will settle for being miserable. I can't hear nobody. I said, you will settle for being miserable. You will settle to make sure everybody else smiling, but you crying. You go in front of them and you're smiling, but when you get in the car, you're crying. You know for a fact that you're miserable. You don't want to be around them or whatever, but for the sake of saving face, and keeping the peace with them, you're going to upset your peace and your happiness. You're so concerned about what they will say that you're walking around miserable. Somebody needs to say, my happiness matters. You got to be intentional about your happiness. When is the last time that you made you genuinely smiling a priority? I mean, some of us, we smile every now and then, but guess what? When I made my happiness a priority, I get up even when they work in my nerve. I get up and be like, girl, you know what? Today's still gonna be a good day. Because guess what? You're not disturbing my peace and you're not disturbing my happiness. So guess what? Sometimes I gotta realize, you know what? So y'all plucking my nerves. I'm gonna take a ride to Starbucks, which is my happy place, and I'm gonna go sit down at Starbucks with my little frappuccino, and I'm gonna smile and I'm gonna enjoy myself. Because before I let you disturb my peace, I'll remove myself from the situation. Okay. Why? Because I have to be intentional. Happiness does not happen by accident. Oh God, I can't hear nobody. Happiness does not happen by accident. Tell somebody I got to do the work. Tell somebody I got to do the work. It's my happiness, and my happiness is my responsibility. Let me tell you, let me go all the way back. I used to put my happiness in the hands of other people. And guess what? When they didn't do certain things, I was no longer happy. Okay, maybe it's just me. I told you I'll be transparent. I used to put my happiness in the hands of other people. So as long as they were doing certain things, I was happy. The minute they stopped doing those things, then I was no longer happy. Now I'm miserable. Now I'm crying. Now I'm feeling like I'm not good enough. Now I'm feeling like, I'm not important. Now I'm feeling like, maybe something's wrong with me. Now I'm questioning all kinds of stuff. Now I'm sitting up here putting thoughts in my mind that shouldn't be there. Why? Because I gave somebody else control of my happiness. You don't have control of my happiness. Let me go all the way here. My husband does not control my happiness. Do I love my husband with everything in me? Does my husband make me happy? Absolutely. Do my children make me happy? Absolutely. But I do not put my happiness in the hands of my husband or my children. Why do you say that, Dr. Vaughn? Because if they're having a bad day, bad week, or whatever, now I got a bad week because they can't give me happiness. Oh, come on here. Come on, Jesus. Did you hear what I said? Now, because I've given them control of my happiness, say for instance, I do something that he don't like. Now, because he knows certain things make me happy, he's now in control to take those things because we at odds. So now, because I give him control, he knows what will press my buttons. No. I am in control of my happiness. Me and God. My happiness is between me and God. Anything else is a cherry on top. Anything else is some whipped cream. But my happiness is it goes this way. My happiness is between me and God. Everything else is an additive. But I don't give anything external control of my happiness. My happiness is in here. See, we've gotten this misconception that happiness is in stuff, that happiness is in people, that happiness is no. This comes from in here, there, in there. In there, I got to have a conversation with Shyvana. When my happiness, I feel like I'm a little down or whatever the case may be, I gotta have a conversation. What's going on with you? Let me have a little mirror time with you. What's the problem, sugar? What's wrong? Because you have to realize happiness doesn't mean everything is perfect. Hello. Happiness does not mean that every I is dotted and every T is crossed. Happiness does not mean that I got $50,000 sitting in the bank. Happiness does not mean that all my bills are paid. Happiness means that no matter, Paul said it, I've learned to be content in whatever state that I'm in. So even if I got a bill that's past due, my happiness does not change because I can't pay the bill. Okay. My happiness does not change because a friendship ends. Am I hurt? Yes. Do I have to deal with the wound? Yes. But it does not destroy my happiness because my happiness is internal. Okay. Let me move on before I get stuck. Then you got to actually apply financial wisdom. When we're talking about living, you got to apply financial wisdom. Some of us keep asking God for more and more and more, but we ain't been good stewards or disciplined over what we got. Hello, God. Some of us, we talk about living, right? We talk about it's time to refocus and live. We're asking God for more money. We're asking God to bless us with this. We're asking God to bless us with that. But here's the thing. We ain't been good stewards and disciplined over what we got. Okay, I knew wasn't nobody going to be happy about that. We have not been good stewards nor disciplined for what we have, but we keep asking for more. We got to learn financial wisdom. I know you thought I was going to say something else. No, you and I have to learn financial wisdom, which means I got to be well aware of what I'm spending my money on. I don't need Starbucks every day. Okay, I know it's going to hurt a little bit. I don't need to go shopping every week. I have food in the refrigerator. I don't need to go to the grocery store just because I got a taste for something different and I got a freezer full of food. I don't need to order out every weekend just because I'm tired from cooking the week, but I got cabinets full of food, refrigerator full of food, freezer full of food. I am wasting my money. I am wasting my money. So I don't need to keep going everywhere from pillar to post. I don't need to eat out every Sunday just because it's Sunday. I know this is about to be uncomfortable. I got to be a good steward, because if I ask God for more, but everything that I get, I throw out, then how am I being a good steward over what he gave me? How can I show him that I'm ready for more? How can I display to him that I am ready for more? So we have to actually check ourselves and wonder and ask ourselves, are you being a good steward over what he already gave you? Let me go even further. You keep asking God for a house, but you don't keep the apartment clean. Help me understand. You keep asking God for a house, but you don't keep the apartment clean, nor do you pay the rent on time. We're not being a good steward. Or let me take it a step further. We're asking God for a larger house, but we don't take care of the house we're at now. We have to literally, ladies and gentlemen, we have to be a good steward over what God has us, whether it's and right now we're talking about finances. How are you handling your finances? You can't spend everything. I said you can't spend everything. Talking about refocusing and live. I'm trying to help y'all refocus so we can live, because we want to live and we want to live abundantly. I said we want to live and we want to live abundantly. We don't want to exist anymore. It's time to refocus and it's time to live. Here's the next thing. Now you need to nurture your environment. How are you building up your environment around you? How are you bringing peace and joy into your environment? How are you setting up your environment, your house, your workspace? How are you setting up your environment? You need to nurture it. If you want your environment to be happy, you can't keep always be on the TV watching all these reality shows, and that's what's spilling all over into your house. Your environment is not just your physical, your environment is also your mental. What you allow in your ear gates and your eye gates. Okay. What you allow in your ear and your eye. If you're always watching all these reality shows that's full of drama, why in the world do you think that you're going to have a drama-free environment? Okay. We're talking about nurturing your environment here. We're talking about nurturing your environment. You got to feed your environment with what you desire. Listen, we should not be actually feeding where we are. We should be feeding where we want to go. Help me, God. Come on here. I said we should be nurturing our environments, not to meet where we are, but to meet where we want to go. I am training my house on how I want it to be. It's a work in progress, but I am training my house how I want it to be, which means I'm talking to the children and the husband. Don't put that there. Don't lay over there. Don't do all of this. You have to nurture your own. Y'all, we keep relying on too many people and we're not doing the work. Here's the next thing. You got to create some routines that keep you building and keep you strengthened. We have to actually be intentional about our lives. Some of us don't have no plan. We just wing everything. Come on. Some of us don't have no plans. We just wing everything. We don't know what we're doing tomorrow. We just wake up and say, this whatever happened today gonna happen today. We're not planning anything. Some of us need to create a routine. Case in point, this is me. I create a routine before I get out of the bed. Before I get out of the bed, I've already opened my phone to read my devotional because I need to set the tone for my day. I need to set the tone for my day. So guess what? I have a routine that before I even get out, before I take my retainer out, before I even brush my teeth, I roll over, get my phone, I open up the app because I need to read my devotional so I can get my mind right before I step out this bed. I have a routine. Then I get out the bed. I gotta go wash. I gotta brush my teeth. I got a routine. Then I got go downstairs, make my coffee before I start my day. I create a routine, not because that I want to be in control, but because I want to command my day. Somebody say, command my day. I want to command my day. So I create a routine that will keep me building and growing. Y'all, I don't want to be stunted in my growth. I want to keep building and growing. So that means I have to create a routine that continues to help me to build and grow. If you are not feeding yourself every day, trust me, you will become malnutrition, whether it be in your emotions, your body, or your spirit. Whether it's in your emotions, your body, and your spirit, because you do understand you can become malnutrition in your emotions and in your spirit. It's not just your body. Some of us only think about food, but what are you feeding your emotions? What are you feeding your spirit? They can become, some of us are walking around malnutrition in the spirit and in the emotion, but that's a whole nother conversation. Because we will feed, we'll eat, but we don't spend no time with God to feed our spirit, and we don't spend no time with ourselves to feed our emotions. Did you hear what I said? See how that works? We will eat, which is putting something in us, but we won't spend time with God to feed our spirit, and we won't spend time with ourselves to feed our emotions. All right. Here we got two more. Spend quality time with other people. Spend quality time with other people. You do know you can't be a hermit. You need healthy relationship. You need healthy relationship, healthy connections. You need you need this healthy interaction. So you got to learn how to spend time with others that y'all are actually feeding off of each other so that both of you are stretching and growing. Whether it be individual or whether it be groups, that we all stretching and growing together. We pushing each other. We're all going somewhere. But you need some healthy connections. You cannot do life alone. Hello? You cannot do life solo. Even if you're single, you cannot do life solo. Even if you're married, hello, your spouse should not be the only one. You cannot do life solo. You need healthy connections. You need to spend time healthy. That's right, healthy. And here's the last thing. You need to spend some quality time with you. So many of us have a problem being alone with us. I was talking to a lady the other day, and I said to her, yeah, I take myself to lunch. I sure do. I go to my favorite restaurant. I sit in a booth. I have my journal. I have my AirPods in. I put some of my favorite music on with my journal, get some of my favorite food, sit in the booth, and I sit there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I have lunch with me. She said, are you serious? I said, yes. I said, I've been doing this for years. Once I got healed and started loving me, go back to that first one. You got to fall in love with you. That was the first thing I told you. When you fall in love with you, you don't have problems spending time with you. But some of us have gotten so used to having people that literally we can't even go get our nails done without seeing if our good girlfriend can go with us. Some of us have missed going to events because can't nobody go with us. Let me tell you, I used to be that person. I used to be the one that, when I would call around to see who could go with me or whatever, because I didn't want to go to the service by myself, or I didn't want to go to the event by myself, or I didn't want to go to the movies by myself. Then I started healing and realizing I found the root of why I didn't. I fell back in love with myself, and now I spend time with me. Do you not understand that the only way you can really know you is to spend time with you? That's right. A getaway for one. You can do a staycation, take yourself to lunch, Take yourself on. Sometimes I take myself for a drive, and I literally just take a drive up 95 or up 83 or wherever it may be. I get some of my favorite snacks in the car. I get my cup of coffee or whatever the case may be, and I just take a ride when it's warm. Roll down the windows, open up the sunroof, and I be bopping to the music, just me. Y'all, it don't have to be all day, but you got to learn to spend time with you. Y'all, we have been existing way too long. Somebody just needs to say, it's time for me to live. We've been existing far too long. It's time for me to live and to live abundantly, which means I'm trying to live well in my finances. I'm trying to live well in my emotions. I'm living well in my health and my body. I'm living well in my mind. I'm living well in my spirit. I'm living well in my relationships. I am learning to live well in every area of my life. I don't want to exist and go through the motions anymore. Each moment of my life matters. Each moment of my life matters. And so I just wanted to hop on here just to chat with you, to empower you. It's now time for you to refocus. I just gave you 10 things to help you refocus. It is time for you to refocus, and it's time for you to live. No more excuses. It is time for you to refocus, and it's time for you to live. You can no longer say nobody told you, because I told you today. And so I hope that you enjoyed today's Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. It's always my privilege, my honor, and my pleasure. I take joy coming just to share with you, just to give you a little nudge, a little push that will continue to help you go throughout your day and your week. So it is my hope that you actually receive something and that you would apply it so that you can show up as your best self. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you beyond measure. And I want each and every one of you to have the best and to live the best. If you have not already done so, make sure you share this with somebody, because we all need to refocus and we need to live. The time is now, not tomorrow, not next week, but tell somebody the time is now. Have an amazing day and make sure that you live.